Hello and a very warm welcome to this edition of Business at 9 this Friday. I'm Vikram Oza with the biggest buzzing business news story of the day. And the one that's top of mind is about Donald Trump. The former president of the United States has been convicted. He's been convicted on all 34 charges in that hush money criminal case. Now, Trump, with this, becomes the first former U.S. president to be convicted of a crime. Some of the other charges in this case that he's been found guilty of is about falsifying business records to conceal a hush money payment to an adult star, Stormy Daniels. The next step is for the judge to approve this verdict and give a final judgment on it. But the kicker here is that Donald Trump can still run for office for president and become the president of the United States as well. But it begs the question, what kind of impact is this going to have on the November presidential elections and his entire Republican campaign? To discuss this, joining us on this discussion is Peter Cardillo. Great to have you with us this evening, Peter. Now tell me, as far as the polls indicate, Trump is in a statistical dead heat when you compare what he's doing against President Joe Biden. And though he maintains this slight edge, and this as the key swing states are going to decide this election, how do you think this conviction is going to play out on the November elections?
I'm not sure. It all depends how the economy goes. It all depends if the Federal Reserve lowers rates before the election. It all depends how inflation is going. This conviction, I don't think, has any bearings on Trump's followers. In fact, he raised a heck of a lot of money right after the conviction. So it's all about the economy. Yes, he will be sentenced. I'm not a political analyst, but I can tell you, I should say I'm not a lawyer, but I can tell you that I personally don't think he's going to go to jail. So
Yes.
I don't think it's going to really mean very much.
But even if he doesn't, Peter, even if he doesn't go to prison because of this case, it does create a new kind of uncertainty on the American markets for sure. When you compare this issue to inflation, to competition with China, or the issue around the southern border, or even the taxpayer money that is being spent, American taxpayer money being spent in Ukraine or Gaza, how much of a bearing do you think this conviction is going to have on market sentiment through this election campaign that's going to be fought out? And I imagine it's going to be quite bitter going into November.
Well, look, you're going to have a lot of political rhetoric back and forth from Trump and from Biden. So, I mean, that's a foregone conclusion. Again, it's about the economy. It's about the people's pocketbook. And inflation, is biting into disposable income. We see that with consumption that is now going down, even though the economy is growing. And most people in the States feel that the economy is not doing well. It's just the opposite. The economy is growing, but unfortunately, the sticky inflation is a problem. And so, again, it's going to be all about the economy. I don't think this conviction is going to have much bearings. And unless, the economy heads towards recession,
Right.
let's say in the fourth quarter,
Yes.
then I think, it's not going it will matter for Biden, but it's going to be a plus for Trump.
If Trump does win the presidential elections, Peter, what happens to this case in case there is a final court verdict that stands against him?
Well, if he wins the elections, obviously, I don't know what he can do about the trial that was held in New York, the criminal trial that was held in New York. But as far as the federal indictments, most people are saying that they would probably disappear because he's going to appoint a new attorney general, and that'll be the end of it. So in terms of, and by the way, in terms of of this trial. He's going to appeal it. As soon as he gets sentenced,
Right.
he'll be able to appeal it.
Right.
So once he appeals it, there's a chance that maybe the Supreme Court, the New York State Supreme Court, might acquit him. Who knows? We don't know.
Right. But when, for an electorate at this point in time, you said, I mean, we started off talking about swing states. What is bearing in the mind of the electorate that has still not decided which way to go in terms of growth prospects, in terms of how the American economy has fared under Biden and what it did under Trump? What is the larger takeaway at this point in time in the mind of the electorate that is still to decide how to vote, whether to go with Biden or with Trump?
Again, you have two major issues here. You have an immigration problem, which most people are focused on, and you also have an inflation problem. Now, during Trump, the economy was good. During Biden, the economy is good. So the issue here is who can do better? And most people probably, again, not probably, but they will vote for their pocketbooks. And the big thing is taxes. So if Trump, being a pro-business candidate, he can sell the American people on perhaps keeping taxes lower.
Right.
I would kind of think that that's a home run for him.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm asking you this on a day that the Indian GDP numbers have come through, and whether growth, as reflected in the kind of output that a country has, is going to decide the way in which government works and functions and how spending is done. All of that, if that's going to be in play, you have two presidents who are going to go head to head, one former, one current, and the comparison on how the economy has grown under both their regimes is definitely going to be at play, is what one imagines. Of course, this election is going to be watched very closely for that and how it impacts the markets as well. Many thanks for joining us with your perspective, Peter Cardillo. Meanwhile,
if you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now. If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.